Good morning, Stampers. It's Elizabeth from StampScrapandMore.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Canada. Grab yourself a couple of pennies because today I'm going to share with you how to make a fun spinner card. Let's get started. So as you can tell, I have been playing with the Bewitching stamp set and the coordinating punch. I've been having fun with it. The last video that I posted makes this cute Halloween treat box, and I'll post the video up here so you can go and look at that after you finish watching this video, because I'm going to share with you how to make the spinner card. It's so cute. So let's get started, and I hope to inspire you. So the last video that I did, I had problems with my focusing, but I fixed it. I tried to get too fancy and I've gone back to bare bones with the program that I use. So, and it now, if I bring this up, you can see it with no problem. So sometimes simpler is better. All right, so you need a piece of basic black cardstock, and it's standard size 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. You need 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, and they are the same, and they are 4 by 5 1/4, and there is one for the inside and one for the outside. You also need 2 pieces of designer series paper, and I'm using the black and white designs, I think that's what it's called. On the original card, I used a Christmas, believe it or not, this is a Christmas designer series paper. I think it's called Christmas Lights or something like that. But for this card, I wanted to show you using the same designer series paper pattern pack. So this is the black and white design. So this one we need, it's 5 1/4 by 2.5. And this one we need 1.5 by 5. You need scrap basic black cardstock. You need some of the white glimmer. What else do you need? Obviously the punch. You need the gorgeous grape stamp pad. You need Versamark stamp pad. You need the Bewitching stamp set. We are not going to use the hat at all. We're just going to use the stars and the spider and the boots. And I'm bringing in the same stamp set that I used in the previous video using the same bundle, Charming Sentiments, and we're going to use Woohoo with the coordinating die. This is probably my favorite stamp set in the whole annual catalog. I love it so much. You're going to need Stampin' Blends. I've got just a light Highland Heather here and a dark Highland Heather. And I'll explain to you something about this, the blends in a bit, so stick around for that. Black embossing powder. And I'm also going to use this die from the Stitched Rectangles. It doesn't have to be this die, but you need something that is about this skinny, can be longer, and we have to extend the die. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. I think I've given you everything that you need, and you need 2 pennies. And in Canada, we don't have pennies anymore. So thankfully, I was in the US on the weekend and have a couple of pennies to do this project. So let's get started. I'm going to start by, this is the outside piece, and we're going to start by, what did I do with everything? Layering the designer series paper on here. I'm just dry fitting it like that. And I'm going to get a little pencil. And I'm going to make sure I'm in the shot. And I'm going to do a little pencil registration mark on my grid paper here and here. And that kind of tells me where I have to stamp the legs, because I want the legs to be under this designer series paper. So I am going to bring out my embossing buddy. And I'm just going to wipe the bottom. So now I'm going to take the boots. And you know, I am going to clean them off because I was using them yesterday on another project, and I want to make sure there's no ink on them or residue. So I'm just going to clean them off like that and then just dry them. Oh, my blocks need cleaning desperately. And the good Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that I am, there is a video somewhere in my playlist on how to clean your blocks. So look for that if you're interested. So there we are. All right. So the first set of boots, I want to stamp in the middle. And I'm going to live dangerously here. I have my black embossing powder here. And I'm going to stamp all three and then emboss all at once and then put the powder on. Usually you use the Versamark, put the embossing powder on, heat it, or put the embossing powder on, then go to the next one. I'm afraid if I go to the next one without heating it, that I will knock some of the powder off. So I did it with the first one and it worked. So I'm going to do it with this one as well. So I'm going to stamp all three without getting my head in here. And I just wanted to make sure my legs are above the registration line. And if they're not, we can always fix it. Okay. And now, and the second one, I'm going to do it askew a little bit. And it is coming off the page, which I don't care, because it just looks like my bewitching witch is having a hard day. And I'm going to do that on this side as well. Okay. Okay, so now I've got them all stamped, and I'm going to put some black embossing powder on them and keep my fingers crossed. Almost. I've got a little bit of extra on this one here, so I'm just going to wipe it off with my thumb. And there is the boots. There are the boots. There is the boots. Okay, and I'm going to heat emboss this. You can see it turning. Love it! I love the black embossing powder. It's so rich and so shiny. It really adds that spark to, or detail to your card. Okay, so there are the boots. Now I hope. Okay, so they're a little low. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to raise it up a little bit like that. And then just trim off the top. So I was a little bit low in doing that, which is no problem because it's just paper and we can fix it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, I'm just getting my embossing powder off my desk. Now what we're going to do is the hat. And I am not using the stamp for this. I'm just using the punch. So I'm going to punch out the hat using the basic black. And I'm making sure that I have it. This is a piece of cardstock that I've had for a project, and it's got score lines on it, and I'm just trying to use it up and not get a score line on the hat. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to emboss the hat, and it's just black and without burning yourself, and I want the whole thing nice and shiny. You know, like a kid when they get stuff on their hands. I can't handle it. All right, so now I'm going to take the embossing buddy and just wipe it over here. And my silicone mat. I had just washed it off, so all right. So I'm going to take the silicone mat, And I'm going to take my Versamark. We are going to have a band across the bottom here. So I'm going to take my Versamark and just ink up the bottom half of the hat and bring out my black embossing powder. Embossing powder really does go a long way. Unless you drop it. Then it does not go a long way, which I've done. All right, and let me put this to the side and bring out my heat gun, and I'm just going to hold it. I love it when it starts to melt and it gets really shiny. Okay, so there is the bottom half of the hat. Now we're going to take it and do the same thing, and just going to add the Versamark to the top half of the hat. If I get a bit of overkill in the middle, I don't care, because I'm going to be putting the band across the middle. Doesn't look like it's got a lot of Versamark on there. Let me try again. Oh, that's better. It wasn't shiny. And again, bring out my black embossing powder. And if you wanted to do it this way, you could reverse the hat, right? So the hat could be going in the other way. The curve of the hat could be going in the opposite direction. All right, and one more time. We'll have an itchy nose. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. I'll have an itchy nose, sorry. Oh, must be some embossing powder. There we go. So there is the hat, nice and shiny. And put that away. And here's a pro tip. Put the lid back on the embossing powder and put it back in its home spot. Okay, so now I'm going to adhere the designer series paper on here like that. All right, and I'm just going to put this down here like this. And so I'm just doing it like along the corner here, so I've got it straight. Like that. Okay, and I am going to snip off the top part. And like, there we go. Perfect. I've got a little bit white showing on the end here, so I'm going to snip that off. There we go. Okay, so now, oh, let's color it while we're at it. So I am using my Highland Heather light. Make sure I've got the right one. I'm using the bullet end. So I'm going to color in the stocking. And the buckles. And then see, this stocking is below. That's okay. I'm going to just color it in like that. Take it up a little bit. I could have moved the paper down a little bit more, but you'll never know. They'll be so mesmerized by the spinning element that they'll never know that your stocking is a little bit short. There we go. A little bit there too. Okay, So there is the stocking. Okay, now we have to bring out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and our spinner. Now the spinner, or the groove I'm cutting for the spinner, I want it to be up a little bit higher because I don't want the hat to go past the top, right? So I'm going to put it there. Don't want it to go right to the edge on either side. I want it to stop sort of here. And on this side, I want it to stop like here. And you know I'm an eyeballer, right, folks? But to make life easier for everybody, I'm using this grid line right here, and I'm just going to draw a very, very thin line in between those two registration marks. You can hardly even see it, but I'm going to use that as my guide. Okay. Oh, I thought I had the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out, but I didn't. And you know, it's a good day when there's new plates, right? So I'm playing with new plates. Yay! And yes, we are going to be going through both layers of a designer series paper and cardstock. Okay. I am going to place the edge of here. I want it that way or that way. No, that way. I'm going to put the registration mark. Let me bring it up a little bit closer. The edge registration mark here and the line that I drew, I'm going to place this on that line. You know, folks, if it does not match up perfectly, it's really no big deal. Oh, doesn't it? New plates. Oh my God, it's so nice. Except for my plate already has embossing powder on it from my last project. So let me just get rid of some of that embossing powder. Embossing powder residue. So there is the first cut that I made, but I need to extend it longer. You know, if you wanted to do it just that long, no problem, you could do that. But I want it to be a longer mechanism. So now I'm going to add my die to that registration mark. Make sure I'm still on that line. And might need a little bit of washi tape to hold that down. It moved just a little bit, but I'll show you that, you know, even if it's not perfect, you are the only one that's going to know. Oh, look at that, even though it moved a little bit. Let me put this away. Okay. So there it is. Not totally perfect, but if you wanted to take a pair of snips, if you had like a little edge, just snip the edge off a little bit. You know, it's not even, in this case, not even worth it. You don't even see it. So worked out perfectly. Put that die back. Okay. All right. So now here is the card base. And again, bring out that pencil because this is going to get popped up. I noticed something I don't like about this boot, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. But in the meantime, I'm going to put a little registration mark there and a little registration mark there because this paper is going to go in between like that. And so it will show like that. I'm higher up. The whole card is higher up. So, you know, let me just see if this is going to work. Yeah, the whole card is higher up than this one, but it's okay. We'll make it work. So adhesive. Do I want the black adhesive? Yeah, the black adhesive showing up. That's what I love about card making, is because no two cards, folks, look alike. Even the person making the cards, they don't look alike. So don't fret if your card does not look the same as someone else's, because every card will look a little bit differently. All right, so now we are going to add this onto here, and you need lots of dimensionals. So we need to put dimensionals on here. We don't want to put dimensionals where the pennies are going to roll. So don't put them too close to the edge here. So I am going to put a dimensional there. And you don't want it to sag, you want it to roll really nicely. Like that. And along there. Because you know what I say, no saggy bottoms. So if the penny was rolling, it's not going to interfere, right? Okay. And now the rest, I'm going to layer over the rest of the card. You know, I'm happy when I use up dimensionals. Here's a paper pumpkin one that's gone. Okay. I think that's good. What do you think, guys? I think that is good. Now let's put this on. One of the tutorials I did, you know, if you're so inclined, I'll list it. I'll list it. It's in a 3D playlist. Was a dimensional holder. I'm going to do this. I'll show you. That's what I keep all my dimensionals in. It makes life so much easier. It's just on the side of my desk. And even space, north, south, east, and west. So here's the dimensional holder I made, and it just holds dimensionals, packages of dimensionals. But I just realized I'm all over the place. Squirrel. Okay, so I don't like, I've got a mark on this boot here where I guess I didn't emboss it well enough. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Blends and do dot, 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 dot to fill up that spot. And that way you'll never know that it was a goof. So one way of if you don't emboss all the way, how you can fix it. Okay, so here is my hat. You need the band, and I'm using the red and white glimmer paper, and I'm just using the band punch here. You can leave it white sparkly like that, which looks, you know, it looks really nice, but I want it purple. So I've got an old Highland Heather Stampin' Blends. That's not the old one. And you'll know what I mean by that. You see how the nib is all sort of frayed? Because I use this for projects like this. And I'm going to color the glimmer paper. So hold on to your old blends if you want to color ribbon, especially glimmer paper, because it does chew, it can chew up your blends. There we go. And I'm going to get some adhesive. Do I want to pop that up? No, I'm going to use some Tombow glue. Come on. And just put the band on like that. Really hold it down so you can cure it, so it can seal, because this surface is shiny and slick. Okay, so I've stamped the Woohoo on Highland Heather scrap. This works almost every time. The paper is flat. And it goes through and matches up with the dies match up with the stamps perfectly. There's the woohoo! I thought it was cute with this stamp, with this card. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Alrighty, we got our hat. No, that's not the hat. We've got our hat. We've got the woohoo, and we are going to pop those up with 3-dimensionals. Oh, I didn't pop it up on the original card. Well, heck, I'm popping it up now, folks, because I can. And I'm going to put one more dimensional in the middle. Okay, one other thing we're going to do is stars, again in the glimmer. And here is our card. Here is 1 penny, 2 pennies. We need a dimensional, and we're going to put a dimensional in betwixt the 2 pennies. Kind of make sure that they are aligned like that. And we are going to drop the penny in there like that. And did I, on the original card, pop that up as well? I did, darn it. I did pop it up. Put another dimensional on here like that. And now we're going to put like that. Not finished yet. Now we got to do something for the inside of the card. But I didn't do this on the original card, but heck, why not? I'm going to take the spider. And I'm going to just drop the spider from the top here like this. Like that. In black memento. The original card, I didn't have anything on the inside. There we go. And if you wanted to, you could also put some of the stars and the stars on it, but I'm going to leave it like that. And adhere that to the inside. Oh, am I running out? I must be getting close to the end. I am. So I ran out of adhesive, so I had to get a new one. Oh, Elizabeth, look at that. Let's get another one because I didn't like that smudge. I could have edited that smudge out, but no, I'm just going to do another one. And I'm going to leave it a minute aside while I show you the card. Isn't that cute? Come on. Here, so what I'll do is I'll put the adhesive on the inside like this. Because I'm impatient, folks. And like that. Da, 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 da. And there's your card. Ooh, oh no. Sorry, folks. Forgot the stars. So because there are stars here, I'm not going to put more stars like I did on this one, because this was a very plain. This was very sort of muted. So I put stars here. So what I will do, I will put a couple of stars, whoops, on the hat. Like that. You really have to hold them down because, like I said before, this hat is shiny now. It's slick, has a little bit of texture to it. And, you know, I'm just going to leave it at 1. Just going to leave it at 1. And there is your spinner card with woohoo! So what do you think? I think it turned out cute. Look at that spin action happening. I know I could play. I took it to work with me, and I work with a bunch of engineers, and they were all mesmerized. How did you do that? Trying to analyze it. Ah, folks, it's pennies. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please hit the subscribe, like, and notify button, and we will talk to you again soon for hopefully another inspiring project. Take care, happy stamping, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.